Hi, my name is Kumar, and I'm going to be reviewing 3 keyboards for you today. Here we have the Steelseries 6GV2 with black switches. We have the Razer Blackwidow here with blue switches, and we have the DASKeyboard Ultimate S with cherry brown switches. So here we have the 6GV2 black switches. The keyboard's very, very solid. Love it. It weighs a lot. There's no actual on the bottom any form of way of elevating the keyboard, but that's not really a problem with this. A couple other things to note on the keyboard: there's no start button, so you can't accidentally in the way of games, but when trying to do anything else, like actually type on it or use it for like server administration or coding, it can be problematic from time to time. One of the things that I'd like to mention is the sound of the keys right here, which I'm going to demonstrate for you. So that's just me typing normally. It's not too loud. I am bottoming out the keys. And then this is like me typing like if I'm angry at someone in a game. Geez, I can't type today. So it's kind of loud. A couple keys that also people don't fail to mention in videos is the enter key and the space bar, which sound slightly different even though they're still using cherry switches. This is the enter key. This is the space key, and then just regular keys right here. If you type really quietly, you know, it's not actually all that loud. So that's just my review, I guess, of the 6GV2. This here is the Razer Blackwidow. This is the MX Cherry Blue switches. This keyboard does have the elevators up in the back to raise the keyboard raisers, I should call them, to change. It does have a start button, and it also is got the Cherry MX Blue switches. I'm going to do a little type test right here. That's just me typing normally. Again, I'll bottom them out really hard when doing the next one, which is like rage mode in games. And I'll mention like the enter key, the space key. It's pretty loud. Typing just, you know, WASD. It does make the clicky sound, which to some people is really annoying. Some people in games, they love it. I personally like it, but it can wake up roommates from time to time. The one thing I will mention is do not play Stepmania drunk, because bottoming out these keys is super loud. So just that heads up. But overall, I love this keyboard as a whole. Can't complain. And I just ordered custom keycaps. That's what those are. And this here is going to be the DASKeyboard Ultimate S. It does have keyboard raisers on the bottom. And going straight into it, has start keys as well. Typing, this has cherry brown, so they're not quite as loud as the blues, but you still have the clicky feel to it, as it were. So that's me typing normally. That's me typing fairly aggressively. To go into the enter key, space bar. This keyboard's been my favorite so far, and I'll give more of a reason why in a moment. So here's my breakdown of the keyboards. The Steelseries that I showed you at the beginning with the MX Black switches, I used to love, and it was my original main keyboard. I liked it, but I always, with games like StarCraft and stuff where you have to focus on pressing a key and building a unit, I always had the issue with, I didn't know if I actually pressed the key all the way down, so I'd end up pressing it twice to make sure, because there wasn't a tactile feedback. Therefore, I would end up building double units. So for me, it wasn't ideal for me to use something of that nature. So I tried, you know, I said I'm going to get the cherry blue switches, which I loved, and that's like the keyboard I modded out. And once I started using the cherry blue switches, they were just too loud. They're super, super loud keys. But I love the keyboard as a whole. If you're in your room by yourself and you don't care and you have no one to deal with, then it's a completely great keyboard. No qualms or complaints with it. and it doesn't hurt as much. Like over time with the blacks, for me typing extended periods of time, like my fingers would get worn out. With the blues, I don't really have that problem. I did put in the actuation force of the 3 different types in the back. For me, even though the blues have less actuation force than the browns for me for some reason don't feel like that. The brown switches is kind of like the hybrid between the blues and the blacks. You don't have the sound, but you have the feel, which I absolutely love. The DASKeyboard, I think, is my favorite out of all of them, except I wish that it had like function features of turning up and down, like music volumes, which the Steelseries does the greatest, because it's all on the left side with the Steelseries button. On the Windows side, on the Razer Blackwidow side, it's on the right side of the key, but like if you're playing StarCraft or any game for that matter, you have your hand on your left side of the keyboard, you have your mouse in the right hand, and you don't want to change a song by leaving your mouse to swap over to change the song. Which is why I liked actually the Steelseries the most in the sense of gaming, in the sense of actually typing, and using it for like day-to-day computer use at the office here. I don't enjoy it as much. So I have to give the winner to the DASKeyboard, or not even just the DASKeyboard, any Cherry MX brown keyboard. Like most people have the misconception that one keyboard's better than the next, even though they're both running the same switch. It's keycaps, spacing on the keyboards, and to each their own. I wouldn't say one's necessarily better than the next. It's just what you're most comfortable with. And particularly, I'm most comfortable with the DOS, even though to a lot of people, I showed this to my mom, and she was like freaking out. She's like, "How can you type with no keys?" And I'm like, "That's easy." So, to each their own. I would recommend them all, whichever you can get the best deal on, depending on what you want. I personally had to give the recommendation to the Cherry Brown switches as they're the most comfortable and quietest for me. So, there you have it. Thanks for watching.